Hey, we're live. Wow.
We
It
are
says,
live.
it says that we can broadcast for like 8 hours. So, challenge accepted?
Holy shnikes. I don't know if I have that in me.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, an hour, 2 hours, okay. Yeah. After that, I'm wiped. So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
everyone, everyone, this is Order of Tier. We are doing things again. We're on the internets, the interwebs. Um, I think we should probably share the link to this thing on Twitter or something.
I think that would be good.
Oh, yeah, if you could do that, Mike, that'd be awesome.
I'm all over it.
Excellent, excellent. So we are doing obviously a Google Hangout on air for the first time ever, and I don't know why we've never thought to do it before, never done it before, but we haven't. We're doing it now though, so that's pretty sweet. Uh, we've had quite a few things begin going on again with the band within the past 6-ish months. We've had a pretty long hiatus due to many, many factors, but we're starting to resurrect things going on here. So um, I guess it would probably be good if maybe I said something about who we are. So we are Order of Tier. We are a band. It's not just two of us. There's actually a third person, but she's not with us tonight. Our singer Donna. But we are a band that takes music from video games, creates original arrangements, puts original lyrics to it. It's fun. It's like power metal, electronic music, um, metalcore, chip tune, whatever, all kinds of stuff. And that's what we do. And I am Jordan B. Sanders, and the other guy over there, that's Mike the Hammer K. Kladzinski.
What's up?
Yeah. So,
Like drums or something.
yeah, that dude bangs on stuff, and I act like I know what I'm doing with the guitar and other things. I don't. So, anyway, what we were wanting to kind of talk about tonight is a little bit of what we've been working on and where we're going with things. And additionally, a special topic that has become very near and dear to my heart in the past week or so. um, I PT, the playable teaser for Silent Hills, the game that will not be, and lament that later. I want to talk about that a little bit. Anyway, so Mike,
Yes.
what have we been doing?
What have we been doing? Well, I have been mixing my brains out on this album.
I feel so bad, man. It's like we like get all this music recorded, and we're like, "Here you go, Mike, do it."
Right. No, it's cool. But yeah, I guess when did we start mixing? Like
Oh man, the mixing.
February or some?
Yeah,
Yeah, needless to say, we've been taking our time with the mixing process. Whereas before, I think the mixing process for Tearing Reality Asunder was about a week, something like that, or
yeah,
two.
maybe. It definitely wasn't 2 weeks. I think we planned 2 weeks, but it turned out, and ending up, we only had like a week or less.
Right. Um, so yeah, needless to say, we've been taking our time this time around, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. I think it's sounding pretty sweet. I cannot wait to be done and get it out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it sounds awesome, personally, but I'm biased.
Yeah, this whole album's process has just been all over the place. Like, it started off, we were just going to try to get all this random stuff that we had written out there, just throw it out the door. And then we started like touching up on some things, and then it was like, wait, this actually sounds pretty sweet. We should turn this into an album.
We had like what, maybe 4 or 5 songs max.
Right.
I'm like, wait, we're just gonna do that, and it's been a long time, and we'll get past this, and then we'll do another real album, and then one thing led to another, and it's like, oh, here's 11 songs.
Album.
Yeah.
So yeah. Have we announced what the name of the album is?
We had, well,
Have we even said that we're writing another album right now?
yeah, we've done that.
Okay.
Surely we've done that. I do know that we did an interview. Where was it? Was it when we were at? I don't think it was Mid South Con. I think it was when we were at. Yeah, it was when we were at the last Memphis Comic and Fantasy convention we went to. We did an interview, and we announced what the name of the album was, but
I completely
feel
forgot
free
about
to
that.
do it officially.
Yes. So the album that will be coming out shortly is called Graviton Life Bomb. And
It's pretty sweet.
yeah, we're pretty stoked. When are we going to release it? We should just set a release date right now, because
Man, that's on you, brother. I'm done with my part. Other than the annoying, oh, that doesn't sound right. Oh, let's change this.
I mean, we've been sending this stuff back and forth for a few months now, and I think that we're pretty much, all the mixing is done and everything. It just needs to be mastered, and hopefully, I'm going to be able to sit down sometime in the next little bit and do that. So you just froze. Are you there? Am I still broadcasting? Am I by myself? Holy snickerdoodles. I think I'm by myself. Jabatuya. I don't know if I'm live or if he's live. Are you live? Am I live?
I'm live. Okay, so you kicked me off.
I had no...
You're just free rolling by yourself there?
Yeah, and I just started talking to myself, so it was really cool. What was I even talking about? Oh, yeah, so mixing is done. Hopefully I'm going to sit down sometime in the next few days and get everything mastered and then push this sucker out the door. So I'm thinking like beginning of July. Just
That sounds right. I mean, we have a sweet new logo. We've got a sweet cover for the album.
Yep.
The music's sweet. I mean, I think I'm going to get a cavity.
It happens. All the cavities.
All of the cavities. I just will have 0 teeth left.
I just had a flashback to that Rugrats episode where they're like in the dentist's office and they're being chased by teeth fairy people or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
The show was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's a thing. Another thing is that hopefully we actually haven't started on this part of what we're wanting to do, but we're hoping to get back to playing at conventions sometime in the near future. I know, speaking for myself, I'm pretty badly out of practice and need to get that back under my hands and whatnot, but I think we want to start doing that again just because it's, oh man, how long has it been?
So the last show we played was at Pulp Arc. What
Yes,
year was that? That's the most depressing question I've ever asked. Was it 2013?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, it certainly wasn't 2015.
I'm pretty sure it was 2013.
That can't be right. That's gonna make me cry.
Is that not depressing?
That's so sad. Like, are you seriously saying that we haven't played a show in over 2 years?
Yep.
I don't. Oh my gosh. I don't even understand what this is.
What is life?
Oh, all right. So then that's obviously something we need to remedy and rectify and address, remediate.
Yeah. I need to
get
get my endurance level back because right now, I don't think
Mine's
I
probably negative.
can. Right. Anytime I try to run through all the songs, I just feel like I'm literally about to die. So.
Yeah. And another thing that we're wanting to do, and here maybe I go over committing us, but I know this is something we talked about, so too bad, Mike. We're actually going to try to start doing videos of. So okay. Better way to give context here. So you guys probably are familiar with, and if you're not, go search on YouTube. There's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of videos of people who will record themselves covering a song, right? Maybe it's like one guy or two guys, and like they record separate videos of all the parts being played, especially if it's, fewer people than a whole band would be. Then they make like this little collage, montage, crossover thing, whatever, of all those parts being played together. Obviously, they mix the track like it's a live track, even though it's not entirely live because all the parts are played separately. But there's a lot of that going on, and I think that would be cool if we started doing that. We actually discussed about that, and I think we are going to try to start doing this with some of our songs. Now, I've got some ideas for some things that may come out really stupid, and I'm not going to share that right now. But that's something to look forward to. More video content in general, right? I think that's definitely a big goal of ours. But specifically, like playthrough videos of like us playing our songs. I think that we do have some live videos, and hopefully we'll have many more live videos in the future. We've obviously never played at a venue where we've gotten to have a really good audio feed of what we're doing. One, we've never really played at a venue where we've had good miking of anything, period.
Yep.
Let alone being able to have a good audio feed for mixing for a live album, or a good video for like video or Blu-ray or something like that. Eventually, hopefully we'll get there, but I think until that time, this will be a cool way to get a feeling of what Order of Tier Live sounds like in like a live album kind of context versus just the squealy feedback sort of laden stuff that we have to this point.
Yeah.
No offense to any of the venues that we've ever played in, man. I love where we played. It's just, it's a different level when you're doing the kind of stuff we're doing.
Yeah. There have been a couple that have been pretty good experiences. I think like
that's true.
Anime Blues, maybe.
Yeah. They actually had a sound guy running. Others have had sound guys, so I don't want to speak bad about that. But that was one where they had like a real pro system and a pro running the board and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty sweet. Yeah. I
guess I think of when we have tracks running through the system versus when we are running the tracks on our PA.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of really separates the thing there.
And that's the reality. And this is something we've never really talked about, but that's the reality of the way we have to play. I mean, we got 3 people in the band. One sings, one plays guitar, one plays drums. Obviously, you listen to our albums, that's not everything that's going on.
Right.
So obviously we have a backing track. Although we're trying to move toward having to have fewer things on the backing track, partly through writing better, right? And not having 8 billion parts, keeping it around the 2 million range.
Exactly. Right.
But we're trying. Yes. But so yeah, we have backing tracks, and it is, if any of you are musicians and you've ever played live with a backing track, it's an ordeal. It's like a real trial by fire. Mostly for this guy, because he's drumming with the click. For me, I just follow him. But it's getting the mix right. It is ridiculous, even if you're not playing, right? I mean, if you're just running the board with live instruments and a track, that's annoying in and of itself, let alone if you're trying to run all that yourself, which a lot of the times we are. We run our own PA, our own track through our own PA, and miking almost nothing other than Donna's voice, right? Because one is not the space, but
yeah. And I'm doing the nastiest thing in the world, which is mixing what everyone in the audience is hearing from behind the drum set.
Oh yeah, it's like the worst place to even be trying.
Right.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, that's a thing.
As I spill water all over myself, that's wonderful. Okay, so 2 more topics that I had in mind. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover here today, Mr. Hammer K?
What was the third one?
Third one?
Or the second of the 2. I know that one. What was the other one?
The PC.
Oh, okay. The PC. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, so we'll use this opportunity, because certainly it's the best one and is the opportunity in front of us at this moment, to make an announcement that we are going to finally, and I know at least one guy out there who's going to be happy about this, we're going to reboot the Order of Tier podcast. So we have, was it 56? I don't know how many episodes we have.
A decent amount.
Yeah.
We did that sucker every single week for
a long time.
A while.
Definitely. And so we've got this big backlog of old podcasts. There's nowhere really to get to them right now. So we'll probably just put like a big zip of them all out on Amazon S3 and make the link public and put a link so anyone can download them. But I think we may be trying a new platform for distribution of our podcast. And I don't know how well it's going to play with, back episodes. And there's been such a huge gap between the last one we did and now, and the next one that we do, that it's a fundamental shift in a lot of things with the band, right? How we're approaching even writing music, any of the stuff that we're doing. So we've talked about this, and we think it's kind of like the best idea to leave that set of podcasts kind of in the past and make it available, but not be, I guess, canonical, or well, I don't know what you would say, but reboot the podcast, start over with episode 1, and try to bring, the higher production quality that we've been trying to bring to everything
Yes.
to it. So that's something we're going to start soon. We thought about this being the first one, but with this being like a Hangout on Air, we're not sure if we're going to do it like this. It may be Hangouts on Air that we do going forward, and then we just like suck the audio off of it and let that be the audio podcast. Or we may do it the other way around, where we just record audio and throw that on a video and put it on YouTube. I think either way, we probably want something on YouTube presence for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of guys, they like to watch people talk for some reason.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a real thing, man.
Video podcasts, even though it's literally just two dudes sitting there talking, that's more entertaining than listening to it. So whatever. So
well, I mean, some dudes just have ice cream cones behind them. So
that's exactly right. Although when we actually start doing the podcast, I'm going to attempt to like do it on my couch and try to do like casual, I'm not sitting behind an effing desk again today kind of thing.
I'm literally at my work desk, so
right. I at least switched rooms.
Man, that's definitely way better than me. I need to figure out a better setup here, but so yeah, I mean that's the thing we're definitely going to be doing. I think in general it's a fun thing for us to do. It helps to keep me closer to things that I really ignore if I don't do it. Specifically, video game news, right? I mean, we just had E3, and of course, I'm on Reddit. I see all this stuff going down, but it's E3. Outside of E3, I don't read any sites anymore. I don't really keep up with any of that kind of stuff, other than I see that people post a whole lot of GIFs from The Witcher 3.
Yes, they do.
So, I mean, right now I'm playing Skyrim for the first time. I mean, I'm like 45 hours into it right now, but
holy snickerdoodles. I'm not going to lie, I have not played it yet. I bought it last Steam sale when it was $5 or whatever?
Yep, that's when I got it.
So that I could play the Thomas the Tank Engine mod, but I have yet to do that. I think
it's a good game. It's not okay. It's not one of the best games ever, but it's an Elder Scrolls game, right? There are some things that are better about Oblivion, but the story is way more interesting, in my opinion, is way more interesting in Skyrim than in Oblivion. Oblivion was just like, ugh. It's like the same thing over and over and over and over. Yeah. Maybe I didn't get far enough into it.
I don't know. When I first started playing, I think I played it for like 10 hours or something like that. And I first started playing, I was like, this is so awesome. This is so great. This is so immersive. I'm immersed. And then, like, what were the things you're closing? The portals or whatever?
Yeah, the
blue gates. Yeah. After doing like 7 of those, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Is this it?
I actually ended up spending quite a few hours in it, maybe like 30 to 40. But it wasn't playing the main quest line. It was just, doing random stuff like becoming a vampire and, joining the Dark Brotherhood. And
that's what those kind of games are all about.
Yeah, exactly. And and the whole gladiator thing that you can do like in the main city. Did you ever play that?
No.
Oh man, there's like a battle arena in the middle of the city, and you can go in there and you can say, "Hey, I want to work and make money," and then like you fight up like this tournament ladder of like dudes. You just go into this arena and I mean, it's like the regular combat. You just got to kill them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's actually really fun, and I did that for a while. And then like people get to know you because everybody goes to watch the fights, and then you're like the champion, and so like people start talking about it when they see you in the streets. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And then I joined the Thieves Guild and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I did all of the tangential stuff, but I did like nothing with the main storyline.
I mean, that's what those kind of games are all about. Just doing as much random stuff as you can. Like I was listening to, I don't know, might have been Pod Toid or something, and Brad Nicholson was talking about getting flanked by a unicorn. It's like, what other game can you say that happens in?
Right. Oh man. But yeah, Skyrim's really cool. I like. Not much else to say about it. It's an Elder Scrolls game. It's worth playing, man. You should really play it. I mean, at least
on my list,
like 10, 15 hours and see what you.
It is definitely on my list. My list is getting smaller, so that's good. I recently finally beat Majora's Mask for the first time.
I've never even played it.
Man,
not gonna lie.
This is a completely different podcast. We could save this for later, but I really enjoyed it. Like when I first played it, I wasn't really a fan. I was like, "What the frig is this?" But I really enjoyed it. Coming into it knowing what it was.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty different.
Well, I mean, of course I did play Ocarina of Time. That's one of the best video games ever made.
Right.
But yeah, I've just never played Majora's Mask. I don't know why. I think Ocarina of Time is probably the last Zelda game that I beat. Is that right? I got really far in Wind Waker, but I didn't finish it. I really like that game. I don't know why I didn't finish it.
Yeah, me too. That's also on my list at the moment. I have a to-do list of games, and I just have a bunch of stuff on there.
That to-do list is almost equal to the number of games I own now. That's really sad. But anyway, yeah, we can talk about all that stuff in an upcoming podcast, and we should.
Yes.
But now is not the time. I send us on a tangent, not a sine or cosine, a tangent. So anyway, that being said, new podcasts are coming. So there's that. Last topic, and I don't want to take a ton of time. I'm sure I will talk about this on every podcast now forever. But the last topic is PT, Silent Hill's playable teaser. I was so fortunate that Mr. Klaczynski here downloaded it before it was removed from the PlayStation Store.
Yeah,
and again, if I haven't said it, I don't even think I said it, but I will say it and profusely thank you.
You are more than welcome.
Having done that.
I had you partly in mind when I downloaded it. Like when I saw that they were going to pull it, like I saw all the crap going on with Konami and all that stuff. Yeah. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then there was a rumor floating around that Silent Hills was going to be canceled. I was like, okay, that's very interesting. And then they announced that it was, and that they were going to pull the game. It's like, whoa, I need to download this sucker. So at that moment, like I logged into PSN on my computer and start initiate, because you can actually do that with PS4. You can like initiate the download online. It'll.
Oh wow! You don't have
the console
like
on
subscription service or whatever.
No.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it'll turn their console on and just start downloading it.
Man, that's great, dude. For everybody buying games and crap. Heck yeah.
Oh, also, this is completely random. When you can actually put it like into standby, and literally like pause everything where it is. Like if you are playing a game, you can turn the console off, and it's like in lower power consumption. And the next time you turn it on, it's right there.
So yeah, just like freeze the image or whatever.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Anyway,
PT.
So yeah, I downloaded it and waited quite a while to play it, but then one fateful night, I sat down, turned the lights off, loaded this game up, and I mean, I have played games like this before. Like I have played, survival horror games, played other Silent Hill games, but and this game is literally just like one hallway, like to an L, basically.
Yeah.
And it's the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Man,
so needless to say, I got about 10 minutes into this. I was like, okay, I got to wait for daytime to play this game. And even when I played it, I played it on a Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m., all the lights on in the house, and it was still terrifying. Still chills every 5 seconds and pee everywhere. Okay, continue.
I don't know if I could have played this thing by myself. This was last week, right? Yeah, last week. I was actually down in Tennessee, so Mike and I and some friends got together. So this was in a room full of 6 grown men playing this game. And going in, so like I had seen some pictures and I had read some things, nothing really spoilery at all, but I had some impression about what goes on in the game. And I have never sat in front of a game before, and every single second that controller's in my hand felt a sense of dread. And just like, I don't want to do this. I mean, I was literally saying that like for the first like 2 minutes, like, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And it's like, what's ridiculous is like, I mean, that sounds stupid, but that's exactly the kind of feeling I want to get when I play a game like that, right?
Yeah. It was just so well done. Like, I don't really know. I can't really put my finger on what it is about it, but like, I've never played a first-person game like that before that I actually felt like I was walking and wasn't just like a floating camera or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very visceral, and every single piece of information that's coming into your brain when you're playing this game is just. It's like perfectly designed to make you just completely abhor taking one more step. It's like you feel the first step and it's like, oh, I felt my foot go down and I hear this radio going, and it's like I mean it's like normal stuff, but just something about it. It's just got this really thick atmosphere of just something bad is here, and you don't want to be walking into this bad thing that's here.
Yes, that.
Honestly, if this even if Konami had still canceled Silent Hills, but they'd left PT on the PlayStation Store and like, well, we're just gonna leave this out here. Even if they started charging for it, $5, like $5 to get it, I would have bought a PS4 and paid that $5 to get that game.
Yeah.
For no other reason than to be able to play that. As it stands right now, I am just so grief-stricken that I can't do that. Right. It's like I want to give this company money and this other company a lot more money to get this thing to use that thing.
Right, exactly. It's ridiculous. Like if somebody came over to my house and they had never touched a PS4 before and, they wanted to play it, I would put that game on and put the controller in their hands and be like, go.
That's something we didn't even speak about. It looks so real.
Yes.
Everything in this game, that's half of why it's so freaking scary, is that every single thing looks so real. Like the wood flooring, like the pattern on the wood floor, and then the light reflecting off the wood floor, and the walls. I mean, like it's like you can almost see the texture on the paint and on the walls. It's ridiculous. Oh, it's one of those things that whenever I start thinking about it, I can't really even articulate how I feel about it because it's just so much experience balled up in it. It's like you can't tell somebody about this game. You have to say, go play this game.
Yeah. I mean, I experienced this whole thing all the way through probably like 5 times now. And each time I notice things that I didn't notice before. And it still freaks me out even though I know what's going to happen. and I know how to do all the puzzles now. Even though there's not that sense of dread, like, oh, I don't know if something's gonna jump out at me right now or not. But I mean, I just
Right. It's like, how do you even imagine what an entire game like that would be like, right?
I don't want to. That's nightmare inducing.
This is just like, I mean, obviously they do a lot to expand the experience of, you know, an L-shaped hall,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, the fact that it loops around in and of itself is a device to make you get creeped out because, like, wait a second, this isn't physically possible,
Yeah.
right?
I guess we should describe what happens for people who haven't even played this.
Oh, man.
Going on and on.
Yeah, that's a probably. Feel free, go ahead.
Yeah, so you start off, you're in a room with a cockroach, and you get a...
No, 2 cockroaches mating.
My bad. That. So you stand up, and you're just in this like cement-looking concrete room, and then you go through this door, and you're in this hallway, this L-shaped hallway, and so you walk through the hallway. There's like a radio playing. Apparently there was like a murder there. And then there's another door at the end of the hallway. You go through it, it loops back around, and you're at the beginning of the hallway again.
And physically, this wouldn't be possible because you just go very far straight, you turn right, you go very far right, you go through the door, but then you end up back where you started.
Yes.
So that's weird, right?
Yeah. And so weird. The more times you go through, the weirder things happen, and there are hauntings, and yeah.
Yeah, like it's really well lit the first time through. Lights start going out as you go around.
Basically, everything you can imagine in your nightmares happens at some point while this loops around. Yeah. And honestly, the thing that was just crazy to me about this entire thing is that there are a couple jump scares in it, but those are not the scariest parts.
Not at all. No.
Like, yeah, they'll make you scream and clench your butt cheeks and break all the walnuts in your butt, but you know, I mean, like, that's not the scariest part. The scariest part is just walking through the unknown and just what's about to happen to me right now.
Oh yeah, and then like about halfway through, like things change entirely, and then you're like, what? I mean, like I was saying, I was playing this in a room with 6 grown adult men, and it was in the dark. And if you had not been looking at us, you probably would have thought we were like 6 school children.
Yes,
screaming profanities and very high pitched, and you know, probably not a clean pair of pants in the room.
Yes, that.
I mean, this is something that I told you earlier this week, Michael, but if ever there was going to be any game that displaced Silent Hill 2 on my favorite games list, it would have been this. Oh, based almost purely on atmosphere alone, right?
Yep.
Now, yeah, you get some story about, you know, this murder that apparently happened in this place or somewhere, about the whole reason why that even happened, and, you know, aftermath and all that. But I mean, there's no real plot in the game, right? You're just trying to figure out why you're here. But it's so dripping with atmosphere and just raw, like emotion, just things to just poke you and make you react, basically, and again, not like jump scare, because like I said, there's only like really 2 that I can think of in the game. It's more like the people who designed it, well, Hideo Kojima and anyone else who worked with him, Guillermo, I can't say the guy's name, Del Toro, and whoever else they were working with. The things that they designed in this, they designed them very specifically for you to have certain reactions. And yeah, I mean, there's blood, and yeah, there's like screams and this, that, and the other, but there's a lot more like really insidious stuff. Like you'll hear like noises and then like it sounds like humming or something,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it just like like you can hear like a frequency of something go down, and then it stops and it's dead silent, right? It's like some like contrast like that is something that's just make you freak out because that stuff just doesn't happen in real life, right?
Exactly.
And the fact that this happens in this game, it's just so stark, and things that are just like vividly different when you make another loop around the hallway. It's like that wasn't there before. I know that wasn't like writing on a wall or something.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And it's just, and sometimes the layout is different, and you're like, how is this even possible? I've come through here like 3 times.
Right.
And it just little details like that that make you not be able to expect what's going to happen. Make you always on edge that something's going to be different, and maybe that something's going to kill you, maybe that something's going to scare you, maybe that something's going to, just wreak havoc on you. And the thing that I like most about that, I don't know how much we want to go into spoilers here. What do you think?
Screw it.
Okay.
Currently, right now, spoilers start, begin, go.
Right. If you've not played PT, skip this part, because this is going to be potentially some real big spoilers. But so one of the biggest things, and I would say probably the best part, well, I don't know if I want to say best. One of my favorite parts about PT is about halfway through it or a little bit more, you get completely disempowered. So that's what's so scary and, in my opinion, really good about horror games is the ability of a game. And movies do this, but the thing is, like, you're not interacting with a movie, so you don't feel it so viscerally. Yeah. But in a game, it's the way that you are trying to be in this world, and then you get whatever you know about your control in that world taken away from you. That makes it extra creepy, scary, just nope factor, right?
Yeah, nope. Over and over again.
Yeah, and about halfway through this game, they execute what is, in my experience, the only time I've ever felt completely disempowered in a game. So you go, and I don't mean to over dramatize this, but you're obviously looping around, and I don't even know what happens right before it, but it's like when your vision starts, blurring a little bit, and just like you see like glitches in it, and it's like, what's going on here? And like the picture misaligns, and it's like there's some problems going on, and then like you see static, and there's just all these weird like noises, like infrequently, but it just happens. And then you keep going around, and things start getting worse, and then like you just have a screen that just comes up, and it looks like an error screen, right? And I've actually seen some, and it's random what comes up, and I've seen some on some playthroughs where it doesn't look like the when we played it through a couple times, we had like a solid yellow screen once and a solid red screen, and it had a message in a bunch of different languages, and the messages were different both times. I don't remember what either of them said, but they were like trying to be creepy along with like the lines of the game, the atmosphere. Yeah. The one though I was watching a video of it on YouTube after the fact. The one that they got was, and this is actually what I had read about prior to playing it, was just like a black screen with like some gray text that said something about fix this damn bug or whatever, or we got to fix this bug before release, and this, that, and the other. More like a meta message than anything else. And I kind of wish we'd gotten that one, because that really makes you get out of the mindset of the game. It breaks the fourth wall, makes you think, oh, wow, the game's screwed up.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and then it just goes back to, so at the beginning of the game, you just see like the studio name, and then it goes into the game. There's no like start, there's no pause, there's a pause, but there's no intro screen or anything like that. After this message flashes and just stops, and you have sound like something really glitched out, right? Mm-hmm. It restarts the game, and you wake up in the room again, and you're like, well, what the crap? But if you pay close attention, the cockroaches aren't there when this happens, when you come back into the room. And then you walk through the door, and it's not the same way it was the first time around the first time. But so if you didn't catch that the cockroaches weren't there, then you're really freaking out. Like, this game's completely screwing with me, and it is, because that's part of the game, that it glitches out and restarts. It doesn't really restart, obviously, but it looks like it does. And so and that sets you on, if you are getting comfortable at all with the game, that sets you on edge for the rest of the experience of PT. Yep. A game pulling that off and it not seeming like really hokey or just like completely killing the atmosphere or killing the game, one, is a monumental feat.
Yeah, definitely.
Just that it doesn't seem that way. But two, it does so much to advance what they want from you in this game, and that's for you to always feel like you're on edge and you don't know what's going to happen. You aren't safe. Even if it's not even a real threat to your character, it's a threat to your experience in the game, right? Yeah. And that's almost like a sort of meta drama going on between not just your character in the game playing the game, but against your mind in the game executing itself, right?
Yeah.
It's really freaky, and I'm sure that people could have pretty intense psychological discussions, on the nature of humans and psychology and in multimedia and interactive media around that. But I just cannot believe that it didn't seem like, oh, this is just a hokey trick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I will probably I could talk about this probably for the rest of the 8 hours that we have allotted here. So I'm not sure if we should cut it short, or if you had anything else you wanted to
I'll just end up freaking myself out. Another one of those things was the fact, and so many of the puzzles in this, I have no idea how people figured this out.
Yeah.
There were a couple times when I had to look this up, and there was one in particular was when you're looking for all of these pieces of this painting or this picture, and they're sprinkled all throughout the L-shaped hallway, which you would think is not that big of a deal since it's so small. Right. But one of the pieces is on the pause menu. And you have to pause the game and then hold in the right thumbstick to zoom in or like focus. And then it focuses in on a puzzle piece that was on the pause menu. What?
Yeah.
Who would ever think to do that?
It's really crazy. And I mean, this goes back to, me saying, can you imagine what a whole game of this kind of stuff would be like? I really would enjoy playing a game that was that opaque about how you're supposed to proceed in the game, because that's really the thing here, right? You're dumped into this room, you walk into a hallway, you don't ever see the room again unless you get to the part where it glitches out or you get, killed by Lisa. And I'm still not clear on how that happens. Because it happened to me once when I was playing, and then when you were playing through, it didn't really happen.
The same thing happened to me the first time I played it. Also, the first time I played it when I was in that last puzzle section, it happened to me again there.
Really?
Yeah. And yeah, I have no idea. She did that thing where she possessed me, where she like flies at you.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever notice that she flies at you, and then once that happens, you hear like footsteps on top of your footsteps?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So that's what causes that.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I just, got killed by this ghost. But yeah,
can you if she possesses you, are you always, and maybe this isn't the place to talk about that, but I'm curious, do you know, are you always going to be killed once she possesses you, or can you do something to make that not happen?
I don't think so, because when it happened to you, I was expecting it to happen. I just didn't say anything. And it never happened. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's said that you can trigger that phone call in that last puzzle many different ways. So,
what? Yeah, do we even know any way other than the one that we did?
I have no idea how you did it. I mean, I know what you did, but because I mean, I did the same thing and it didn't work for me. So,
well,
I think it's just the
yeah,
right place
I
at the
mean,
right time kind of thing.
yeah, I guess so. And that's the thing too, is like the random nature of the puzzle solutions, right?
Yep.
So like the way that I had to solve the last puzzle, and obviously to my knowledge this is the only way to do it, and of course I only knew this because you told me what to do, um, was you have to wait till the clock strikes midnight, so it strikes 12 times. You hear the baby cry. You walk 10 steps. You hear the baby cry again, and then you hear a noise, and it's one of three noises. Depending on the noise, you either go look in the mirror in the bathroom, you go look at the focus of the phone, or you look in the hallway. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or not the phone, or is it she's at that window sometimes too. But
God, I'm
and
getting chills right now thinking about this.
no, I know, dude. And then like when the controller starts vibrating, and then another baby laugh or whatever cry, and then the phone rings, and then that's it. But just the fact that she may show up in one of three places, and it's freaky, right? You have been in these areas so much at this point. You go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, she's there, and she's like shaking in the mirror right behind you, and it's like you got to keep looking at her, or you're not going to be able to get past that part. Or if she's like outside, and then like she just like disappears immediately. That's freaky. And same when she's in the hallway, and if you get half a step too close in the hallway, she just darts at you. That's like the most pant pissing moment in that whole
Yes.
like holy crap. Because she's already just like kind of like vibrating, shaking as it is.
Yep.
And then you're like, what's going on here? And then this right at you.
It's like just as you get used to something that's happening, it just bam changes, and it's just every time something sudden happens like that. Like it can be as simple as her disappearing. It's like
yeah. I don't think I could play that game by myself. I mean, it would be very hard.
I'm not gonna even though I have seen it played multiple times or played it myself, like if I sat down right now and tried to play it, I'd still scream. And I would still be freaked out.
But that's why it's so good. It's like you can't like Resident Evil is a really good counter example, right? Let's take Resident Evil 2 for example. Probably in the first quarter to third of the game, there's this point where you go into, so you're like in a police station, right? And you go into an interrogation room. You can actually go into both sides if you have the right keys. But you go into, I think I can't remember the order. I'm going to get this wrong probably, but I'm just going to pick one and go with it. You go into the side where you can see into the interrogation room, not the interrogation room itself. I think first. I think this is right. And you get some items, you leave. Later, you have to go get another key to get into the actual interrogation room. And then when you do, you just see the mirror and stuff. And you go to get an item at the back of the room. And then when you come out, like one of the enemies just like jumps through the mirror at you. And it's like a jump scare, right? I mean, everybody knows what jump scares are. But like that's like the epitome in Resident Evil of how, stuff like that happens. And that really, gets you the first time. But every time after that, it's like, okay, he's gonna jump through this mirror. Right. Big deal, right? Yeah. There's nothing in PT where it's like big deal. Yeah. The closest thing to big deal is when the bathroom door first opens a crack and like you focus in and like she jumps out and closes the door. But even then, it's coming. But the problem it's the controls. This whole experience just works perfectly together because the controls are imprecise. You don't know what you're focusing on, right? Yep. You know like the general area, but you don't know precisely what you're focusing on. So that means that when you do this thing, you have to focus on the door to try. I guess it means you're trying to open it, and that's what triggers her to jump out, see you, or you see her, and then pull the door closed. but you don't know where on the door you have to focus, and you don't even know if you're looking at that point of the door. So it's like almost kind of random when it's going to happen, and thus it's still scary even though you know it's coming. And that's really the only part where it's like, oh, okay, I know that's coming, so I can brace myself for it. Everything else is more like creepy and not like jump scary. Like continuing with spoilers, like the refrigerator hanging from the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
And then the next time you come around, it's swinging, and then like the screaming coming from it, like all that. It's like I know it's coming, but it still doesn't change the fact that it creeps me the heck out.
Right. Man, when I first saw that, I thought I was screwed. I was like, I'm not playing this anymore.
Yeah.
Just...
and
for me,
go ahead.
One of the creepiest things was when that window falls, and she is just freaking standing up there on the balcony, just looking, like not doing a thing, just looking, and it's like, nope.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, unfortunately, that was something I had spoiled for me. I kind of wish I hadn't. That I even knew that there was like a railing up there, you know, like another floor up there, because at that point, I'm putting myself in the shoes of somebody who's played this for the first time, has no context coming into it. You're walking around this hall several times, and then that glass falls down and breaks. That causes you to look up. You never even knew that there was a second floor up there, for one.
Yeah.
Right? So you never would have been looking up there. But the first time you do, she's up there. And it's just like, what? It's all unknown on top of random unexpected, right?
Yep.
All of this uncertainty, this inability to rely on what you've seen and known, your inability to even rely on your perceptions about things. It's making you question everything about how you play games and about what you're doing while playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's hard to say. It almost feels like it's an anti-game, and I don't mean that from the sense of, you know, a lot of people use the term anti-game to mean a game that wants you to not have fun, or a game that is work. Like, you know, a lot of people talk about like World of Warcraft as a job, right? That at some point that becomes an anti-game. It's just something you do because it's something you do. But I think this is more of an experience where it's like it wants you to react to what it's doing instead of you control what's going on, right? Mm-hmm. It's a kind of game where I could see, if this were like a full-length game, where I could see that you couldn't do anything in the game, right? Yeah. You just have to trigger things to happen, and only by either random happenstance, like you played the game for 45 minutes or 30 minutes in this one area, so that triggers a door to open, or you know, it's an anti-game in that sense that you're not sitting down to do something with the goal of, most games you want to beat as fast as possible, right? You want to experience what you're doing, but the goal, the overarching goal is, let me get to the end of this game as fast as possible and have fun while I'm doing it. When I mean anti-game, I mean the opposite of that. This is a game that's trying to stop you from that goal, and giving you an experience during that. I don't know any other game that's like that, honestly. I mean, maybe there's something out there. I would love to play it if there is. I think that's why I'm so drawn to it. It's such a different experience in gaming than anything else that I've played. It's not just the fact that it's horrific and entirely dread-inducing. That's great, and I love that aspect about it, but it's fundamentally a different type of experience than most games you play.
Yeah, and you feel so helpless while you're playing it.
Absolutely.
And this has probably been assumed at this point, but if you have not played this, you do not have a weapon at all.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, there's nothing to do with it, even if you did.
At one point, like maybe almost halfway through, you get a flashlight, but that's about the only aid you get.
Oh yeah, and this is another example and argument for non-combat gaming, right?
Yep.
I mean, 95+% of games, even if they're not entirely focused on combat, have some sort of combat in them, right?
Yep.
Like the notable exceptions being like puzzle games, but even those sometimes have combat aspects to them. This game is entirely about experience, not about dominating or controlling or asserting your will. And in fact, it's actually the opposite of that. It seems like the intent of this game is for you to experience someone else asserting their will onto you.
Yeah.
And it's a real interesting role reversal. I think it's a great game. I think that Konami was stupid for. I understand they had issues outside of just this game, and it wasn't because of Silent Hills that it got canceled, and they thought that it wouldn't sell or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they are really stupid with what kind of gem they had on their hands and what kind of interest they generated. Not just in the Silent, like everybody that I know that's a huge Silent Hill fan is like thinks that this would have been like amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like would have been what saved the series, because quite frankly, most of the recent Silent Hill games just absolutely sucked from an experience standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, it drew in people who weren't even interested in Silent Hill, right? Who'd never even given it a thought, because how things are these days, if you weren't in on the early days of a franchise, you're probably not really interested in new games that come out in that franchise. Yeah. Unless you're really curious and you want to go back and experience those. But it being called PT and not having any association with Silent Hill drew in a lot more people to play it than would have otherwise.
Is you don't know this is a teaser for Silent Hills. Like it just popped up on PSN, said PT, and everyone was like, "What?" And you have to beat it in order to find out what this is.
And you didn't even know that you would do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the general expectation was you'd beat it, and you just beat it, and it's like, "Wait, this PT thing was pretty cool, but what's that all about?" It's just I still hold hope that somebody understands that this is a huge market, people who want to see this game come out.
I feel like we live in a time now with Kickstarter to where if if a publisher didn't want to pick this up or whatever, I'm pretty sure this could get funded and become a thing. It wouldn't. Huh?
Definitely, you're right. I think the only barrier to that is that I would assume that Hideo Kojima has a non-compete contract, or did, with Konami, meaning and also a contract that says that anything that he did while he worked for them was their property, meaning that he could work on an original horror game, but Konami definitely has enough lawyers to make sure that any horror game he works on gets skewed to be perceived as, violating one of those contracts.
Right.
Which is really crappy, because that doesn't do anything but hurt everybody, like literally everybody. And if that's the thing about Konami. I mean, it's very obvious that they're really pulling back from the video game industry, right? They're a huge company with lots of other things that they have going on, gyms.
Right.
But it just is unfathomable to me that Konami is a company run by businessmen who don't understand that you could really invest in something like this. Yeah, okay, probably Kojima has ridiculous ideas, and it's probably be really expensive. But if you could bring a huge swath of people into an IP, into interest in an IP that they never would have had otherwise, that's this old of an IP, and then maybe that you could sell a lot of your back catalog to them, especially with PS4. Well, why don't you just make all your games on the PlayStation Store? I mean, one way or another. I mean, even if you had to really rework stuff, I mean, yeah, you did the HD collection, and that was a piece of junk from what I understand. Thank goodness I never bought it, but you could probably spend a little effort and make a whole lot of money.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh well. I don't know. I mean, maybe I just don't have any kind of real understanding of the economics of the situation. That's very possible. But it just makes me so sad that it's likely that I won't be able to play a full game like this.
Mm-hmm.
Though, the good thing is, even if it's not Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro doing something together, I hold out hope that this proved that this kind of game is something that people want to see, right? Yeah. They want to see a game that revolves around disempowerment of the player. That was the thing that I always loved about Silent Hill 2. One of the best parts of that game is also one of the biggest nope parts of that game, which is in the hotel when you have to put all of your items on that shelf, including your flashlight, and go down the elevator into, God knows what, without your flashlight, without your weapons. It's just ridiculous, right? Yep. And I mean, that part of Silent Hill 2 is just only scratching the surface of what it felt like to play PT.
Yep.
And I think that even like Silent Hill Shattered Memories did a pretty decent job. Because obviously, have you ever played that?
I have it, and it's on my list. I'm going to play it soon.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm going to get to it this year.
It's a really short game. You should make it a priority. It's not a long game at all.
Mm.
And I don't know why a lot of people badmouth it, Silent Hill fans, but I really like the game. I understand that it really changes the concept of the first game. But anyway, there's something that I thought that Shattered Memories did really well was that feeling of disempowerment, that you literally couldn't fight anything. You literally had to run away. The thing I didn't like about it, though, was it was very action-y, the sequences where you had to run away. Yeah, you could hide in cabinets and this, that, and the other, or, wardrobes or whatever. But that never really felt like a practical option with the way that it was presented.
Yeah.
It's funny that you have to run away, but the fact that you're running away in the manner that you're running away, like I said, makes it feel like you might as well have a gun that you're running and gunning against these things. You know what I mean? It's not like a sense of dread. It's like I don't really want to be doing this. It's not more like oh man. Well, it's more like I don't want to be playing this part of the game. Not like no sort of reaction. But all of the ancillary stuff, the story parts, the exploration, honestly, for all I care, you could have taken out all those chase sequences and just had the other parts of the game, and I still would have thought it would have been a pretty darn good game, just because it's very interestingly presented. You need to play it, man. I really think it's like 2 to 3 hour game. It's really short.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I know it's not any more than 10 hours for sure.
Okay. Yeah, my biggest issue was that I got it when I was at my last house, and I had everything set up in such a way that I couldn't put the Wii sensor bar up by the TV or whatever. And so now, new house, new setup, sensor bar is where it needs to be. So
sweet.
It's on my list soon.
Well, all right. I think I've talked enough about this. Like I said, I guarantee you I'm going to talk about this more in the future. But if it's not apparent, playing PT was one of the most enjoyable video gaming experiences I've had since playing BioShock Infinite.
Yes. I would definitely agree with that.
Well, I wouldn't say one of. I would say is the most enjoyable. And because, for what it is, honestly, I don't want to say it's a better game because it's not a full game, and it's there's so much in way of you can't compare BioShock Infinite to PT, but for as short of a game as it is, I had such an intensely good time that it compares with BioShock Infinite as far as goodness of a game or whatever.
Yeah.
So, just my
I
opinion.
definitely agree with that.
So, all right, man. Anything else that you want to talk about or cover before we wrap this thing up? I think we're at the 8-hour mark. At least it feels like it.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else. Follow us on all the things.
All the things, twitter.com/order of tier. You're on YouTube, so up there somewhere is youtube.com/order of tier, facebook.com/order of tier. What else? It's video game metal on some things, but I don't remember what now.
We have like
SoundCloud is video game metal.
Mm-hmm.
And our website, videogamemetal.com.
Yes.
So,
for good reasons.
Many reasons. And many more things are coming soon. We promise. First, we've got to get this album done. And then that'll be released. And then we will be turning our attention to more multimedia things, potentially.
Yes.
Hopefully. That's the goal. So
exactly. So we
be on the
shall
lookout for that. Anything else, Michael?
Negative. I'm ready for everybody to hear this album.
Yes. So look forward to that. And with that, we're done. I'm done. I'm Jordan B. Sanders. That dude is, who are you?
I'm Mike the Hammer K. Klodzinski.
And we are Order of Tier, and we'll see you guys next time.
How do we stop this thing?
There's a button down there. I'm going to go to click that.